Welcome to CXO, a magical podcast to help you serve better and concoct experiences that are superlative in nature. I'm your host, Supriya Sharma, bringing to you in each episode didactic nuggets so you can get inspired to sprinkle stardust in your company, your home, and the community on the whole.
So we have with us today our guest, Ben Goodey, who's joining us from London. He is the marketing lead at Sentisum and the able founder of How the Fxck. Ben, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here.
Could you help us understand how Sentisum is revamping the customer experience space through automation?
Yes, sure. So Sentisum is an AI natural language processing startup based out of London and India, actually. And what we're doing is helping companies leverage their customer support data for customer insights. So customer support data is a largely untapped resource at the moment of customer feedback, CX insights, and that kind of thing. So we are using AI and an NLP to automate the process of categorizing those tickets, helping companies prioritize insights and friction points and reasons for churn and reasons customers can't get in the way of more revenue. And we're helping companies prioritize those and all their other feedback. But mainly it's about leveraging support tickets.
That's wonderful.
What that actually looks like, it's about automating the tagging. Mm-hmm. I just finished that, but it was in terms of what that actually looks like, it's about automating ticket tagging as tickets come in, which companies can use for all sorts.
And the best thing about it is how we can leverage our technology to create wonderful experiences for our customers. So before we move on, Ben, how do we differentiate between customer service and customer experience?
I think I'd go for just a simple definition. Like, I think customer experience is sort of the way that I would define brand as well, which is just like the sum of how your customer interacts and understands and feels every interaction with your brand, and that's the customer's experience with you, and that covers across like their first interaction, their pre-interaction, through to their like post-sale interaction, and all of that kind of experience with you. And it's about sort of, I think for companies, like every company makes these sort of big brand promises about like, this is what great stuff you'll get with us. And the customer experience is the sort of customer side of that promise. Do they really get that experience that you promised? Whereas customer service, I think just it's the simple part of how can your team actually help your customer overcome a problem in the moment, rather than versus a longer term fix or experience. It's more of a it's more of like the support that your team can give them in that moment. So that then covers like all of your channels of when your customer needs you. Are you there on the phone, or are you there by chat, or do you have the right articles ready for them? Like, those things are about how you literally support your customer in the moment of need.
So can we say that customer service is just a part of the whole puzzle, what we call the customer experience? Would it be fine to say that?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, you can have like the customer service experience is an important part of the overall customer experience. Yeah.
Customer service experience, I like that. Well, what's the linchpin of a Sentisum customer experience? Since your company is into AI and customer service and bringing them together, what is the linchpin of a Sentisum customer experience?
Yeah, I like this. It's a very good question. I always think if a company works in the space of customer experience or customer service, they better have good customer experience or customer service. But of course, it's hard to do, but it's something we're working on all the time. is how can we improve those things for our customers. One of the big things that we do in our customer experience is having a free trial is like one of the big things that we do. Like within the AI world, it can be very easy to be uncomfortable whether the AI is going to work. Like we promise like the AI is going to categorize your tickets very accurately and at a very detailed level. Is it going to work? Like everyone thinks my data is special, my context, like I'm worried it's not going to work. So we always do like a huge free trial where we go through 12 months of all of your data and we work with you and we show you exactly how this product will work on your data, and you can see would you get value from it on your own data before you even decide to sign any contracts, So I think that's an important part of just like reassuring all of our customers, like making sure they're going to get value. And at the end, we don't want to work with people who are unhappy and they're going to leave us in a couple of months. We want to have people who come through, get value, and then decide to buy. So we don't trap anyone. I think that's an important part of our customer experience.
Okay, so we get it now. That's how Sentisum is making use of the freemiums. We get a free trial for 12 months. That's wonderful, before we can decide whether we want to go ahead or not.
It's actually, so it's not 12, it lasts 1 month.
Okay.
But it can, like, we do an analysis of 12 months of your support ticket history.
Mm-hmm.
So that you see really like on a high volume of support tickets, will you get value, basically? Yeah, so it lasts a month. You only need a month to be like, this works, yeah, or this doesn't work. Yeah, no, nothing upfront to kind of trick you into it. Just like we talk to you, we tell you how it works and make sure you're happy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, since we are on support tickets, let me ask you this. Since you're working with the clients of different sizes and different revenue scale, when we come to support tickets, is it really worth the time of a customer service leader to be looking into each and every support ticket or listening to the call recording of each and every customer service interaction? Do you think it's worth the time, or it should be sampled across?
I would say, obviously, it depends how many support tickets you have. You can't, like, no one has the capacity to look through, let's say like one of our customers has like 150,000 a month support tickets. So no one's looking through all of those. Like, it would be crazy, by hand at least. Like, they don't do that manually. But yeah, I think it's 100%, if you don't get a technology to do this for you, like, it's 100% worth looking at your support tickets, whether you take a sample and you report on like what you find in that. Like, you can make, when presented the right way, you can make a really good case for improving the issues that you find in support tickets. And once you share that widely across the business, you can start to reduce the volume of support tickets that are coming in related to those issues. So I think it's 100% worth. So for me, it's, I think the most valuable bit of customer insight you can probably get is to talk one-on-one to a customer. If you can do that at scale, then you can get like a quantitative statistical sort of feeling, an understanding of what the real issues are, and so you can prioritize like according to that. So yes, definitely.
Absolutely. Those of us who work in the customer service space, we would agree that the best and the most upfront feedback you can get from a customer is directly through interacting with them, actually. But looking at on the global scale and the distances, okay, you are in London and you have customers in the United States. How do you think we can get in touch with our customers, if not through technology, if not through surveys, if not through tickets?
Yeah, I agree. You can't. I think you have to do it through technology. Yeah, and I think it's important. I think it's important that everyone has their channels set up so they can talk to customers. But I think most importantly, it's like how you use that data. Like, most of the time, support or customer service professionals, they know all the problems of the customer. And then you've got the other side of the business, someone doing a survey, trying desperately to understand what's wrong with the customer. And those two need to come together, and people across the business need to be looking at support tickets and understanding support data.
One of the issues that we've also noticed when talking of the support tickets and analyzing what issues the customers are facing, or what are the good things, in fact, that we are doing for our customers and what's making our customers happy. In some cases, when we are presenting these one-off cases of the customers being happy or unhappy, we have this issue of outliers, especially when the cases are presented to the management team. There's always this thing saying that, okay, they might be outliers. How do you know that the case you're presenting is true and we should actually make changes in our strategy or in our focus based on what you're saying? So how do we convince the management on that usually?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, if they're saying, yeah, I think it's a fair question. If you say to someone, today I heard in a phone call that this customer has this problem, it's a fair question for someone who's head of product or something to say, well, how big is that problem? Like, who else is impacted? How do you know it's important? But yeah, I mean, the way you need to do that is to build quantitative evidence as well as the qualitative. One conversation helps hit the point home, but the quantitative side of things is what's gonna prove the case. Yeah, and it matters too, because why one problem and why not another problem? So if you can know that this problem makes customers leave you and it affects thousands of customers a day, and this problem, is slightly painful, but it only affects 500 customers, like, yeah, it's important that you can prioritize, that you actually build a quantitative sort of understanding of these things.
And that's where effective data analysis actually comes in, right?
Yeah.
So Ben, what we want to know from you is, how can we turn the customer insights that we are getting through softwares or through technology into something that is more actionable, something that can relate to our customer service vision? Let me make it clearer for you. Imagine a company who's starting afresh on their customer experience journey, and they have this data available to them through technology, the insights available to them. How can they actually turn these insights? What's the secret sauce that can help them turn these insights into something that's more actionable, that takes them closer to their customer service vision?
Cool. Yeah, it's a very good question. I think it's a very difficult question as well. It's like very convoluted and there's lots of answers, I think. But yes, I think it is a big problem, like customer experience people having insight but not being able to make other people listen, or not being able to make it into action in some way. But yeah, like there's a few different characteristics of insight that gets listened to and it's a bit more actionable. And I think so there's two parts. There's the insight itself, which is kind of what we just talked about, like the statistical side of things. Like, can you be confident that you can trust it? And is it like new and insightful insight? Like, is it something that's more context? It's not just, we have 100 issues about the order process or the returns process, but it tells you like customers of this age are returning because of this specific issue bug in the website, like we should fix that, and this will lead to this much revenue change. It's a much more of you can make a bit more of a case, which is more insightful in the way that you present those insights. And another big one about insight itself is that leads me on to like the granularity of those insights, which is, instead of just the top level like order issue, it's the real root cause of why that customer is having a problem and why they're all having different problems. So then there's like insight, there's general stuff that I think everyone knows about insight, like it has to be unbiased as well, and the fresher the better, like it can't be 12 months too late telling us a problem. And those are all the things about insight. And then I think the other side of that, once you've got your insight in a way that's really trustable and you can be confident in it, then it's about how do you translate that into a message to the rest of your organization. And there's a few great people who, like, you often find that a customer experience head of customer experience is like a champion, and he's like selling and telling stories, and I feel like they have to be that person to sell a vision. But yeah, we wrote a tip sheet actually recently about basically how to get heard and how to get listened to as a customer experience professional. Make your insights listened to. So I just quickly like reel off a couple of those, but like making things easy to understand is of course like a basic one. Getting it in front of, so now like let's say you have like a huge amount of customer insight. How do you then get that in an easy to understand way in front of the people that need it at the right time? Like not everyone is going to be able to start a new project and act on it right now to make the changes that will fix the problems that your insight has revealed. So basically like getting it in with them at the right time. Let's say you have a bit of insight about, well, let's say the product team is currently working on a project to fix the checkout experience or something like that, if you're an e-commerce company. Gathering your customer insights on that particular area of the business and saying, oh, by the way, this could help you now, is a good way of sort of aligning yourself with their strategic roadmap. And that's a great way to actually start getting people to hear and understand the value of support insights. So that's one good one. One of the people I've interviewed on our podcast, his big one is about talking about his big one's like, how do you get the rest of the business to act on your insight? Is to talk about brand, essentially. Like the way I described it, well, at the beginning of this podcast, about basically your customer, like a lot of people care about their brand promise, but customer experience is basically the actual how you deliver on your mission and values and the brand that you promise to your customers. So if you frame it around brand instead of customer experience and say like, we need to meet our customers' experience by promising a great brand experience, sometimes reframing, like the message there is sometimes reframing your argument in a good way, in a way that everyone already understands, can help you get listened to. But there's a few different ways. Like I feel like I could go on, but I won't. But I can share with you my tip sheet that we've created online. It's like a little ebook about how to get, like there's two. So there's how to make your insights actionable, and then there's how to make customer support and customer experience valued.
Oh, that'll be a great resource for our audience today if you can share that tip sheet. I'll make sure I include the link in the description for the tip sheet for all our audience and they can access it. Great. Cool. So Ben, to conclude this session, what is the message that you have for our customer experience aficionados as a CX professional, someone who's working in this domain, someone who's working day and night to create those memorable experiences for the customers? What is your message for our aficionados or enthusiasts here?
Keep going. It's sometimes it can feel like an uphill battle, but you're doing the right thing. You have the most important job in the company, really. So keep doing it. Keep selling. Don't be afraid to make the case. Don't feel, if you feel unheard or unlistened to, don't be afraid to learn more skills around being convincing and just get up there and start selling, because it's a bit of an uphill battle sometimes. So yeah, and good luck.
Okay, so that's my takeaway from the entire talk, that yes, you have the most important job in the organization as a customer experience professional, because as a business, you exist because of your customers. If your customers aren't happy, or if your customers aren't there for you, no, you're gone. So yes, as a customer experience professional, you have the most important job. Great.
Exactly. 100%.
Okay, so thank you for being with us, Ben.
Thank you very much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to CXO with your host, Supriya. I hope you enjoyed a dive into the nitty-gritty of customer experience. If you are committed to applying these ideas in the real world, stay tuned with me. Don't forget to check out all the links and resources in the show notes. That's all for this episode, folks. See you next time.